I have mixed feelings about this car. And not because it's a bad car in any way, in fact it's an annoyingly good car, but because it replaces a car that I was quite fond of, which is the Skoda Yeti. Now the Skoda Yeti didn't tickle everybody's fancy, but it was fun and different, and as myself and Bob Flavin found out earlier in the year, could even scale a mountain without breaking a sweat. But as the market becomes more and more dominated by SUVs, Skoda can't take a chance with a car that doesn't float everybody's boat. And so they've given us this, which surely will. It's the Skoda Karoq. Unless you've been living under a rock, you'll have already heard of the larger 7-seat Kodiaq. And this is essentially a slightly smaller 5-seat version of that. And that's not a bad thing, because if you don't need that extra row, it's still exceptionally practical, cheaper, and with dimensions that are a little bit easier on the eye, if you ask me. On that practicality, it's got a big old boot at 521 litres, which, to put in perspective, is bigger than both the Nissan Qashqai and the Hyundai Tucson, but it's still quite a bit shy of the Volkswagen Tiguan at 620 litres. And I'm going to put that down to the old conspiracy theory that Skodas are not allowed to be better than Volkswagens at everything because they're cheaper. One trick it does have up its sleeve back here over the Tiguan though, is that not only is the load capacity almost the same when you fold the back seats down, if you spec the very cool VarioFlex seating, you can remove those back seats altogether, creating even more room. Now I am not going to do that today, because if you go back and watch our preview video from the launch, you'll see that it is definitely a two-person job. So I'm going to be very lazy here and say, here's one I made earlier. Here in the back is nice and spacious. I am 167 centimeters tall and head and leg room is like so. And I think I'd be quite content back here even for a longer journey. Even more so because I've got a tablet holder here to watch my cartoons on. The middle seat passenger, maybe a little bit less so, because you do lose a little bit of leg and a little bit of headroom. But children would be fine, and it does have 2 sets of Isofix anchors for child seats. Another great thing about these VarioFlex seats is that you can slide these outer 2 forwards and backwards to increase or decrease legroom or boot space depending on what you need more of. So it's a big thumbs up for back here from me. Back in the front, the cabin design is a bit like the outside. Not very exciting, but still quite easy on the eye. Everything looks smart and well put together, with the exception of this infotainment system, which is not just grand and nice, it is outstanding. Just look at those graphics, and bear in mind, this is a Skoda. This is a brand that people were making jokes about at one stage. But this system is as good, if not better, than what you'll find in many premium cars out there. With its crystal clear display, haptic feedback, and all the latest in smartphone integration. Now that is the upgraded 9.2-inch Columbus system, which you'll have to upgrade to the style model to get. So there's only 2 trim levels with the Karoq. They've done away with the entry-level active one for this model because people just weren't buying it. So now the range starts with Ambition, and that means that standard or entry-level features include things like alloy wheels, dual zone climate control, parking sensors, and Smart Link Plus, which will enable Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So while that might make the entry-level price look expensive compared to the entry-level price of some other rivals, what you really need to be doing here is comparing it to their mid-spec models, because when you do that, it starts to look like much better value. There's also a €2,500 price walk to the style model, and I think if I could, I probably would. Not just for that bigger, better screen with sat-nav, you also get a reversing camera, keyless go, automatic lights and wipers, and upgraded chrome styling outside and in. I'm not sure, however, that I'd spec it up quite to the extent that this one has been, which adds about another €5,000 worth of options, including a panoramic glass sunroof, an electric tailgate, wireless phone charging, full leather and active cruise control. All very nice features, of course, but it does push the total price into Kodiaq territory, which is pretty dangerous territory if you ask me. Right, let's rock and roll. There's quite a wide range of engines to choose from. If you want a petrol, which more and more people seem to be considering, you can choose between the 1 litre turbo, which I know sounds like a tiny engine for a car of this size, but it's actually pretty peppy and a great option for those who do mainly town or suburban driving. Then you've got the 1.5 litre TSI, which packs a bit more punch than the 1 litre with 150 HP, and also comes with fuel-saving cylinder deactivation. Would probably be my pick of the bunch. However, if you are a high mileage driver, you might still want to consider one of the diesel options, which come in the shape of a 1.6 litre TDI and this 2 litre 150 brake horsepower TDI, which is pretty much at the top of the range because this one also comes with 4-wheel drive and a silky smooth DSG automatic gearbox. It also gives a very respectable fuel economy of 5.2 litres per 100 kilometres and will cost you €280 a year to tax. On the road, the Karoq feels very similar to other Volkswagen Group SUVs, including the Tiguan and to a lesser extent the Seat Ateca, which I actually think feels a bit sportier than this. But what that means basically is that everything feels very solid, everything is balanced perfectly, the steering, the suspension, although the 18-inch wheels on this one don't do the ride comfort any favours when the roads get a bit rough, so do think about where you're driving before you spec those, as great as they do look. One thing I don't like about this particular car is the stop-start system. Because it's paired with the DSG gearbox, sometimes it feels like there's a bit of a lag to restart the engine, especially if you're waiting for a gap at a busy roundabout. Just feels like the restart takes a fraction of a second too long. So I've just been turning it off. But you have to do that every time you start it up, which is a bit annoying. But to go back to the pause side, I can't believe I've got this far in a Skoda review and not mentioned the one-handed bottle opener, which is surely one of the greatest feats of modern car engineering in the last 10 years. And it's not just that, you've also got some other nice, simple but genius little touches around the cabin, like that little clip on the windscreen that you can store your car park ticket, umbrellas under the seats in case it rains, those divider things in the boot, hooks, torches, nets. And that's the side of Skoda that I really love. It's the good, honest practicality and thinking of the little things that affect a driver in the day-to-day. And that's why I think the Karoq stands out in this segment, even if the looks don't. But it's still no Yeti. Let us know what you think of the Karoq in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like this one, and if you'd like to see this in the metal for yourself, you'll find details of your local Skoda dealer on CarsIreland.ie.